positive attention, and instead everyone negatively teases her. But I can't lie, I want to be perfect too. And I learned my lesson that does not come from me called somebody's little boo. Allah has instilled imperfection within us all. Just don't ever try to be perfect by making yourself fall.
As a kid, math wasn't my favorite subject because I thought it was useless. But in retrospect, basic tools like the 4 operations reveal information on society's expectations that I didn't realize before. How superficial differences are utilized to divide, too busy adding up differences on the outside, I'm done. Beauty ideals are used to push political interests, resulting in abominations that history witnessed. From this, there is one fact we can deduct. Definitions of perfection are social constructs. I'm tired of feeling insecure in my hijab, criticizing every flaw, every zit, every flab. Moroccan Muslim citizen of these United States, but not considered part of what makes America great. But our value isn't determined by our faith or skin complexion. It was simply a tool used by our ancestors for subjection, like in India, where British rule was reinforced by white supremacy. Skin bleaching and fair and lovely remained as their legacy. Or right here at home in the land of the free, where enslavement and bondage was part of reality for the black experience in the United States of A. But the repercussions are still prevalent today, like how light skin, blue eyes, and straight blonde hair is the definition of beauty we're all supposed to share. Or when Hitler advocated for an Aryan race that resulted in atrocities we wish we could erase. When ostracized groups like Jews and the disabled care cards with which they were labeled. Or in South Africa, during the apartheid, where blacks and whites experienced institutional divides. But it was in Rwanda where this was amplified, where Hutus and Tutsis clashed in genocide. May their souls rest in peace. I don't know much about math, but I know a thing about economics. We've been diagnosed with the disease, and it appears to be chronic. The beauty industry is a parasite that thrives on insecurities. There exists a procedure or product for every perceived impurity. This $100 billion industry would crash if we were content. This is an outcome business leaders work actively to prevent. Like the one holding the highest office in the nation, the same man who owned the Miss Universe organization, and Kylie Jenner would not be able to sell her lip kits, promoting ideals as a hypocrite with lips counterfeit. I'm done. I don't know much about math, but I know one fact that's proven. To every single problem, there exists a solution. We need to acknowledge all of our common factors, and at that point is where we'll find our answers. The Prophet said all mankind is from Adam and Eve, and a Muslim has no superiority over another except by actions and piety. And there is one truth the Almighty Allah has foreseen 1400 years ago, revealed in Surah DEEN. We certainly created man in the best of stature. There is no match to his wisdom creation can manufacture. And even if we try, our destination is the ground, waiting in our graves, day of judgment bound, striving for perfection. Into our egos we feed. But remember, the only thing that carries over is our deeds.
Okay, 579-28064.
That was me.
That was you? Okay, sorry. 4558-22308.
To introduce this poem real quick and just explain the meaning behind it. And so this spoken word that I'm about to perform, it is titled Boxes. It is inspired by my own personal story of coming to the United States and the struggle that I had with identity, because we live in a society where you're expected to have a clean-cut and perfect identity. But the reality is you cannot be identified by one thing. We're a mixture of many things that are imperfect but perfect, despite there being a lot of pressure on me. Because of those identity, having that pressure around it, reclaiming that identity is what is beautiful to me. So this is about my definition of what beautiful is, and it is embracing yourself despite going through struggles. When I was 8 years old, we moved to this land from Saudi Arabia and packed our whole lives into boxes, cardboard boxes filled with hopes and dreams. And when we arrived on my first day, I was asked to unpack my whole life and try to fit in a single box based on the color of my skin, a box on paper. Black African American, Middle Eastern, I didn't know which one to pick, maybe because I couldn't really read, therefore these boxes didn't mean anything to me, but as time went on, I can sense the walls being built around me, boxes closing in on me, so I didn't know where I would fit in. Because see, being Sudanese means being too African for the Arabs and too Arab for the Africans ethnically. Therefore, I didn't know how to mold myself into a single identity, didn't know how to construct myself into 4 walls on paper, because each one came with a different stereotype. Each with a description of how I should be identified, as if I'm a book they're trying to summarize, as if I'm a science experiment they're trying to classify. Socially constructed boxes they try to fit me in. They try to tell me that I must fit into the African American box because I'm an angry black woman, because I'm a strong, independent woman, because I'm a loud and unapologetic woman, because in the face of injustice I speak, and because of the melanin in my skin. They try to tell me that I must fit into the Middle Eastern box because of my religion, because I'm Muslim, because terrorists look like me, because the scarf on my head somehow represents my whole identity. Socially constructed boxes they try to fit me in. But I am tired. Tired of being expected to apologize for my blackness and religion. Tired of being a walking target. Tired of fighting 2 fights at once. Tired of making sure I don't sound too angry when voicing my opinions. Tired of fearing for my life every time I step out of the house. Tired of listening to my mother continuously praying that I don't get killed in the mosque or get stopped by cops. Tired of watching how I act so I don't seem too suspicious. Tired of not loving my skin for the longest time because I never fit in, and I'm simply tired of not being valid enough as an American. They try to build those walls around me only to silence my screams, but I will not allow you to construct me, build walls around me, and trap me in them. I will not allow the boxes verified by a check mark verify who I am. I am who I say I am, and every time you try to build those walls around me, I will knock them down. Because quite frankly, I am black, I am angry, I am Muslim, I am frustrated, I'm American, I'm tired, and you will listen to me now. Thank you.
scoring is 451730427.
Before I begin, I just want to give out a quick trigger warning. My spoken word does deal with and has information about suicide and self-harming behavior. So if anybody's uncomfortable with that, like, feel free to go. I won't mind. I could not think, for I could barely breathe without choking on tears like acid as they trickled down my swollen face, for I missed you more than I thought I would. I cried for you more than I thought I could, and in the glare of my flooded eyes did I see you. So far from perfection, yet the closest to it I had seen. Imperfectly perfect in these eyes of mine, beautifully flawed in every way I could see. For greater than the world, you were to me. Yet all for you to see were the flaws and imperfections this world had traced out, which I'm sure only left you with a doubt. All the beauty you had and the perfect things you did, we all envied. Yet they left you feeling morbid. Striving for perfection in this imperfect world was a struggle for us all, but when it came to you, it was as simple as fall. Yet all you could see were imperfections. All you could see was infection, and I guess that is why you decided that you were needed no longer. I hated how much it hurt you. Every single time. I wish I could have taken the pain away, make you see what I see, and then maybe then you would have changed your mind. I hated watching you beat yourself up all the time. When were you going to realize this ongoing battle you had going on with yourself? It was a losing fight. You literally were destroying yourself from the inside, trying so hard to be something you're not. When were you going to realize you were already perfectly fine? I find it funny how the world breaks the beautiful, just as it had broken you, as you now lay there in your casket, shattered into a million pieces. A puzzle that had never been put together. A beauty that had never been seen. Society had made you feel like a prisoner in your own body. When would it occur to you? True happiness comes from within, and to achieve that, you have got to love the skin that you're in any other way, and you just won't win. Just an endless cycle where you keep sinking and sinking. I remember your teeth as they shone through your smile, the smile I despised in all its perfection. I miss it, all of those moments. It's been quite a while. I remember your perfect hazel eyes and the strength that they held, but the last that I
I solved them. They were red as they swelled. I remember your hair so perfectly straight, telling the story of all your sweet traits, and in the night of your last, when you hated yourself the most, I was there, loving you in all you were. As you took another dose. You saw me as far, but I promised I was close, for through all the world's people in that night, I had loved you the most. So shocked as I looked down on your body so pale as it lay there in a casket, lifeless and frail, and the questions ran like adrenaline through my head, through my blood, wondering if I had done something more than maybe. Maybe then you wouldn't have ended your war. I miss you is really what I want to say, like I missed you the day that was your last. I think of you, it only brings me fear, fear of knowing you are no longer here, here where you belong. Only you had known that all along. Of all the friends, the years on end I've ever met, I'm sure to say you are one I'll never forget. If only you knew how you were brave, intelligent, gentle, kind, and how you're going to change this horrible, cruel world with that beautiful, incredible mind. I miss my best friend, that is all that is left to say, because you have left me now, left me in a world where you are no longer, without having me taught to grow older and taught to grow stronger. In time doesn't go by, not that of a single day that I don't wish to say that you are even better than perfect in every kind of way. Thank you.
Do not reply. Can you believe this is real life? Is how my 9-year-old brother wakes me up for fudging. Leave her alone, Hassan, yells my mother from the kitchen down the hall, where she makes breakfast every day at exactly 6:30 a.m. for the last 21 years. Shifa, but can you believe it? He's ruining our democracy. You see, it wasn't the fact that he could say the word democracy, but the fact that he, at the mere age of 9, could both understand the concept of what it meant to be free, and moreover the fact that we were no longer free. I push away his pudgy little face because the 3 words, "leave me alone," were easier than "not my president." And just like the 90 million people that stayed away from the "I voted" stickers, I too threw my blanket over my head and pretended I couldn't hear anything he's ever said and just lay in peace in my own bed, but it hits me like, "Shifa, wake up, it's time for school." And my mother has shifted from the kitchen to my brother's room. I wake up to the blended sounds of prayers, music, yelling, and absolute chaos, and even between the walls of my house, I couldn't escape our reality. Cynic. It's what they call it, right? When I stand from afar and judge those who I think go too far. Please explain to me what your posters and signs, your articles and lines, your protests and marches, your Instagram posts and Facebook rants, and your Snapchat story that I won't watch because trust me when I say 243 seconds is way too long. Yet you try and try, go on and try, and I will not stop you. Stop, stop, stop. I chase after the bus. Another one missed, another 35 minutes wasted. I close my eyes and hope the man sitting next to me does not throw his soda can into the street. Open too late. Getting crushed between 35 and 36 by trucks and cars. All the hope I had left has now spilled out, forming alien-like shapes in the cold concrete. Was the garbage can really that far? Humans continue to prove that we are subpar. Is that why they're trying to find life on Mars? Escape. It's what we all do best. Hide from what is so vividly placed in front of our 2 eyes, the 2 eyes that we watch the blind man struggle to find his way off the bus with, the 2 eyes that we watch the blind man struggle to find his way off the bus with. I'm too tired to tell. The 2 eyes that we watch the blind man struggle to find his way off the bus with. I'm too tired to help, too exhausted.
Prompt her with a word.
Yes, please.
Too
Too
tired
exhausted
Too
my
tired.
vision is blurred.
That my vision is blurred. Too tired to help that my vision is blurred. Of course, that makes complete sense. My glasses were prescribed to me, right? I can put them on whenever I want to. Now that's my cue. Found them buried under my mess of a bag. Assalamu alaikum. Silence. I love it when I don't hear a reply because nobody's home, and with a sigh my book bag is thrown over onto the dining table, knowing very well it will find home in my room by method of my mother's shoulders. Rebel soldiers currently occupying Syrian territory. Police killing of unarmed black man sparks protests. We'll be back after a short commercial break. BBC on full blast means Bubba's home, and now my innocent little father has a question on his face. How could they ignore masses of people because of religion, gender, or race? My father's question remains unanswered as we migrate to the dining room and begin to stuff our face. My mother feeds my brothers who think everything is a race, and my sister yells asking for water as I've almost emptied my plate because need to finish my homework just means need more time to waste. Sabr, sabr, my mother reminds them all. The one who is yet to fall to this fast-paced call of the dunya, whose body is small but heart is big and has strength like a wall, one that keeps the fear of orange-haired men out through her prayer halls. I wish I could stand just as tall, but I throw my blanket over my head as I get ready for bed and think about all the things I hated about this day. But as per routine since I was born, a tradition my mother has sworn, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, to reconfirm my faith, and my 2 eyes are shut until Fajr Adhan the next day, but my heart still remains buried in hate. And as she always does, she feels my pain and treks her way to the room across. This woman of 38, full of hope, says, faith and fate. Like I said, God is great and hence a not my load of work or watching crumbling states. It is my beautiful mother holding a family together as she has done for the last 21 years, and the faces of each and every one of my siblings, no matter how much I complain, I get to see them every day. And my Baba, oh my innocent little Baba, who prays and prays for every cry, not for himself, but for every crying child he wants to ease, and for every wretched soul that he sees, all the things that I fail to see when I refuse to look at the beauty. The neighbors who put special bells near their house so the blind man would know he's close. I'm the woman who picks up trash so it doesn't pollute our city. And for the 90 million that stayed at home, there are millions out there fighting for the rights of all of us, not just you and me, whether it be on the street or through tweet. They will stand on 2 feet or not stand so you can get a better seat. All the words that they chant will survive to achieve, survive all backlash and continue to repeat. My mother's kiss worked like a time machine. Why was I so focused on grief when I've grown up hearing Al-Jamal يختبي في كل شيء فكرت علم كيف أدرك? I could hear it, but was I listening? Because I used to throw my blanket over my head and pretended like I understood what was being said. But I didn't clean my ears until now or wipe the fog off my glasses or clear all the disruptive thoughts in my head. Was it because I was reserved, never did more, never did less, or because I did not deserve to be free of hate and cruelty? It was not any of these had I paid attention to what my mom has been telling me. Now I've finally figured out what it means. There is beauty hidden in everything. I just needed to learn how to perceive.
Alright guys, next person is 4516 31097.
I just want to make sure that it's clear and it's not like scratching or anything like that. Good? Thank you. This poem is entitled Dark Beauty. I've coveted light skin since the age of 3. When my fellow peers in kindergarten bullied me, their harsh words would cut through my self-esteem, and at home, my pillow would muffle my screams. Asking myself why I was treated so differently, I then realized that I was an anomaly. The only black girl in the entire school, no wonder the kids were so cruel. I was a blemish of black in their porcelain sea, so a year later I changed schools to flee.
For a short while, things became better for me, but time went by and I constantly moved as my dad's new jobs kept getting approved. And in every place I went, it became quite apparent what the world thought true beauty meant. 7 countries, 9 schools, and trips on various planes, yet one thing always stayed the same. Lighter was always better. So I slowly began to resent my skin, wanting nothing more than to simply fit in. I'd surround myself with lighter friends so that in the end I'd shine too. I prayed they'd become the sun to my moon, unable to create a glow of my own. Maybe I could reflect the light that they shone. And I did, just enough to finally be seen. But as guys began to approach me, I was only 13. The black ones would say they'd want to take me to bed, yet my lighter-skinned friends they'd want to marry instead, so I wondered. What is it about me that warrants sexual attention but at the mention of commitment leaves me faced with rejection? One guy said that he simply doesn't date dark girls. Told me to tame my unruly curls and I felt it. The anger in my heart, the tension in my body, I felt it. The tremble in my lips, the choked words, trying to claw their way up my throat. As bitter rejection coated my tongue like bile. I played it off with a smile. But I felt it, and it hurt. It never feels good to know you've been thrown, especially by those you've considered your own. Imagine telling yourself you had to marry white just so your children would turn out light, just so they won't have to go through the hurt that comes with being told that your skin looks like dirt. As a young girl, I constantly battled and fought with self-doubt and often disparaging thoughts, thinking that this inky black skin was absorbing and stealing my light from within. But my mother, God bless her soul, she told me that my black was beautiful. I remember. Baby girl, your black is beautiful. You believe that with all your mind. Baby girl, surrounded by your dark, that heart of yours will always shine bright. My mother was right. My mother was right. But it was hard to take her serious because my mother is light. She couldn't understand my fight. So I had to do this on my own, all alone. I was scared. The black burden has always been hard to bear. I was told it weighed less for those who were fair. If you carried this weight, what wouldn't you do to rid yourself of the curse that was forced upon you? Bleaching and tearing away at the dirt, ignoring the pain, the hurt. Burning it away so that you can shine lighter, brighter, beautiful. That was the promise. To have lighter skin that would make you look flawless. It was a lie. Just ask my many aunts who gave it a try, and like them, I too tried to achieve the dream like them. I used skin lightening cream like them. I set my body ablaze. So that people would look at me with eyes so amazed they would finally say I was beautiful. I only used it once. But once was all it took for me to completely redefine my outlook. See, there's this common fact that we all neglect. It's that God made every one of us perfect in colorism. It's creating this space between us as a people, though we share the same race, the same human race. It's time to get over this segregation, to support each other and unite as a nation. We're all broken and hurting, so it will not be easy. But we will get through it because healing's a journey, and like me, in the end, I hope you'll all see that no matter what shade you happen to be, your color will never define your beauty.
Look around the room. What do you see? It seems you're witnessing a tiny piece of humanity. A room of individuals of every color, size, and shape. In a time where money is king and the queen is hate. Our world seems to be bursting at the seams. It seems to be falling apart with every move, like a game of chess, a complete mess. Everything's scattered in an unrest that we're all just pawns in a larger scheme. It seems as if humanity has gone wrong. The years are dull and long as our president sits in an Oval Office telling men, women, and children that our country somehow says RSVP, people who've been running day and night, and yet it seems that staying alive has become a privilege, not a right. Look around the room, what do you see? It seems not a single one of us is at ease. It seems we live in dark times where the magic word is no longer please. It seems half the country is out to sting us like bees. It seems like the world is at its worst. It doesn't matter that we've passed 2016. My Syrian brothers and sisters are dying. My black brothers and sisters are being shot in the streets where none of my sisters can walk with complete certainty because their hijabs have become the Jewish stars of the Nazi regime. Because history is like a broken record, always recording and repeating what's on the record. The only thing that changes is who's oppressed and who's the oppressor, and for the record. Every tragedy comes without any kind of solace, and our hearts break while our broken president lays back in his Oval Office. We feel attacked, marginalized, sidelined, forced to watch a horror movie that we are inside, and our hearts broke again when we watched our brother, Alan Kurdi, die on a beach after weeks at sea. But too bad the film has already moved on to the next scene. We feel powerless, helpless, useless, sleepless, tired of answers and apologies for things over which we have no control. We are sick of excuses and accusations, people who turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to reality and believe in alterations, people who take compassion out of the right side of the equation unbalanced, and now there are no rights in that side of the equation, and it remains unsolved, so they add their own power in, and in protest we repeat ourselves endlessly, but nobody seems to listen, like a broken record. The world keeps spinning, but the same things are heard, and the same mistakes are made, but nobody seems to learn. We put our morality aside, and the greed and hate broke in. If history has one thing to say right now, it's that humanity's record is broken. But look around the room. What do you see? I see a small slice of humanity. All of us made from the same molecules and atoms. All of us made from this. All of us, the sons and daughters of Hawa and Adam. I see each and every single one of us in all of our undeniable beauty. It seems because, as Allah states in His book, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. He says we have created man in the best of stature. Man, all of us. We are all in the best of stature, the best of creation, no matter race, age, gender, religion, or nation. We together are all in the same boat. We are all in the same boat with those refugees lost at sea. We are all together, no matter the differences. Our differences are what make us beautiful. Man, since when was black any less beautiful than white? Since when did love stop being a fundamental human right? I lost my pinky nail to a door frame when I was 9. Since when did the whites of my eyes look at my injured brown hand and say, his problem is not mine? Man. Beauty is a herd of zebras galloping together as one, all with unique stripes all under the same sun. Beauty is a garden filled with all different kinds of flowers, fruits of all flavors, some sweet and some sour. Beauty is cooperation. Beauty is embracing difference. Beauty is all of us. Allah is beautiful, and He made us beautiful. Alan Kurdi was beautiful. Omran Daqnish is beautiful. Muhammad Ali, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman, each and every single one of them beautiful. With thoughts, feelings, dreams, aspirations, goals, fears, occupations, concentrations, and true beauty is acknowledging that and meeting it with collaboration. I unconditionally join hands with you as you unconditionally join hands with me. United we can shatter records and rebuild history. Beauty is unity. Now look around the room. What do you see? We can fix humanity's record. Thank you.
5012.
Self-harm, mental illness, attempt at suicide, so if anyone needs to leave, then, yeah. The first time I met depression, I was in grade 6. I stared right in the mirror, contemplating my entire life. Why I was sad. Why I couldn't be glad for the things that I had, why I was looking at things in black and white, why I didn't have the energy to go on with the fight, why? Why was I feeling this way when everyone told me not to feel this way, why when my mom said no, it's just a bad day, why? Why were these bad days turning into bad weeks? Why were these bad weeks making me weak? Why couldn't I eat and why couldn't I breathe? Because it felt like those bad weeks never stopped. The second time I met depression, I was in grade 7. I sat on my bathroom floor and I made 4 clean cuts, looking like a tally score, like I was keeping track of how much pain I was in. I took the blade and I pierced my skin, and then I looked into the mirror. Then back to the slits on my wrist that were telling the story of how I couldn't resist and how I wanted to feel pain, how the thoughts in my brain were telling me I was insane as I went down the stairs. With slits on my wrist, with tears on my face, running like the blood on my arm, and my mother looked at me. And she said, "Beta, what have you done?" And I wanted to tell her that the depression made me do it, but that would look so foolish, and that would look like I was looking for excuses on why I slit my wrist. The third time I met depression, I was in grade 8. I looked at my 2 fingers, then back at myself, then back at my 2 fingers, because what I wanted to do was feel the food I had consumed come out from the in and into the drain and gone, because I wanted to be beautiful. I wanted to pick apart in my pieces and throw away the parts I didn't like, parts I wasn't supposed to like, because they said that thin is in and white is bright and fair is lovely, and I felt like the fat brown girl in a place where fitting in was more like standing out and being beautiful. Being beautiful was hard. I wanted the back, which when you touched my spine would be an adventure for your finger. I wanted the motion to go up and down, and I wanted to be a pile of flesh with a skeleton so hollow like a bird, and I wanted bones where my hips should be, because I wanted to be beautiful. The 4th time I met depression, I was in grade 9. I sat on my queen-size bed beside a sign that said princess, writing words on a paper to confess the countless times I felt worthless and the furthest thing from perfect. And I looked in the palm of my hand, swallowed 10 pills that I had planned to end this body that I treated like a wasteland. This was the only way to withstand the pain. And to stop the thoughts in my brain, I had to gain my freedom back. I had to stop containing and confining every feeling. This was the only way. I swallowed 10 pills that night, hoping it would be enough. Closed my eyes under the moonlight shining through my window beside a sign that said princess, feeling stressed, depressed, and the need to repress every inch of self-worth left. This was the only way with the 10 pills in my system. My eyes were closed, and the only prayer I let out that night was, please, don't open in the morning. But they did, and now depression meets me, and he meets my friends, and he meets my family, and he stays over for the weekends, and he sleeps over uninvited, and I don't know how to hide it when depression meets me. Depression tells me that I am not who I appear to be, because in reality I have no self-esteem. Depression says to give up on all of my dreams. Depression gives me anxiety. Depression says scream, no one will hear you. Depression says I am on the losing team. Depression says that no amount of ice cream can save me from this extreme, because when I come to school, dressed neat to be discreet, depression says everyone knows how messed up I really am in reality. Depression says, I am losing with this personality. Depression says, I am not beautiful. Depression says, I am removable. Depression says that thin is in and white is bright and fair is lovely. Depression says no one will ever love me. But now I say the first time I met depression, I was in grade 6. Now I meet depression and I don't slit my wrists and I don't kill myself for beauty and my eyes see the world in color and my mom doesn't look at me the way she looked at me with empathy. Now she looks at me like she's proud of me because I'm better. I have all my pieces back together, even the parts I didn't like, the parts I wasn't supposed to like because I molded society's concept of beauty and put myself in the equation. If X was the world, then I would be Y. Beauty exists in all kinds of functions, and striving for something that you already have is not worth meeting depression and hearing the thoughts that he has, because I fought with depression and I learned how beta, what have you done, can turn into beta. Look how you won.
Next person is 4502 40195. 4502 40195. You guys here? Okay. 4596 40621. You're next. Alright, can everyone hear me? Is this good and everything? Yeah. Alright. I've always thought Palestinians were the epitome of beauty, even as every media source around me would have me thinking that this was the face of a unique kind of terrorism, a barbaric savage hell-bent on the destruction of its land's rightful people. Which is ironic that I may have portrays us that way because I can't seem to recall my ancestors committing mass cultural genocide and calling it manifest destiny. Maybe that's why, growing up, I hated being Palestinian. Hated belonging to a people that I thought had no legitimacy. Hated telling people where it's from and watching their faces twist. Hated going from person to just another demographic threat in their eyes. It's been 4 years since I've last been home. And you really don't know what you have until it's gone. And it's hard to know what you have when they tell you it was never yours at all. When Israeli soldiers wave their guns at you at checkpoints, tell you your father's land, your father's father's land is no longer yours to step on. It is empty soil and empty proposals. It is shrapnel and cyanide skies. And I wonder what would have been different if years ago my mother's father had just held a little bit more dirt in his hands and stayed. And yeah, I've always thought Palestinians were the epitome of beauty. I mean, what other culture has survived so strongly after so much erasure? One nation, over 100 countries. Learning someone is Palestinian is a bonding experience in and of itself. No one will have a deeper appreciation for za'atar and zaytun. At age 7, we are already experts at navigating war zones. Head down, don't make eye contact, shoulders in. You sink into yourself and hope they won't notice you're there. We can swap checkpoint stories the way other children swap trading cards. Like, I remember hearing about a Palestinian woman attending a demonstration at a checkpoint. A man who walked up to her and kicked her in the stomach. "You are nothing but a filthy terrorist," he spat. "You deserve to be raped before you can have your first filthy terrorist children." I've thought about that encounter for a long time, really. What does it mean to bring children into this world not wanted in their own country and certainly not wanted by this one? What does it mean to bring children into this world when either nation might just kill them, when leaving either land could mean never returning? In the streets they chant, "Go back to your own country." Have they forgotten we don't have a country to go back to? And yeah, I've always thought Palestinians were the epitome of beauty, although saying that is too radical. When your very existence is seen as political resistance, every little sign of life is radical. And they tell me I should be a little less radical, a lot less loud about my identity. After all, colonizer and colonized, our stories are never heard as equals. Maybe if the sound of missiles over Gaza made oil flow through the streets the way it did blood, they would care to listen a little bit closer. They tell you to be happy you're alive. What is land when you are alive? But we have never confused surviving with living, never settled on progress, never mistaken it for liberation. We have always been able to find potential within negation. My people are the olive tree that grew from the rubble. My people still dance the dabka to the beat of the bombs. Water cut off and we still boil maramia. Electricity gone, but that doesn't stop lamplit recitations of Fatiha. Apartheid walls separate us from our families, but my people somehow look up at the sky and remind themselves we are still under the same moon. My people have never settled on complacency. 3 intifadas later, and we are still taking steps towards the shores of Haifa. My people never lose hope. And because of that, I've always thought Palestinians were the epitome of beauty. Woo! Mama told me to never forget where you come from, to plant your feet in America and still feel your roots in Jeddah. I've always found it is women who hold the memories of their country nestled between their hearts and their chests. So I hope this room ends up giving you your next demographic threat. Hatta wearing Layla Khalid looking Palestinian nationalist. I'll name her Janine after the promise of a life that was taken from me after the spirit of revolution. Because I plan on raising her with a flag in one hand and pebbles in the other. Maybe if we throw enough stones, we could build our own wall. And this time we would be on the right side of it. We'll make them scream our names over the oceans, Palestine, over the missiles, Palestine, over the pain, Palestine, over Israel, Palestine. Woo! Until there is nothing left to say.
Amidst the suffocating smog, you can see very little. Amidst the rain and the drizzle, the pollution will trickle, it will tickle down your throat, it will kill you slower than the pistol, but it'll nibble at your insides until you die with them. Amidst the rubble, you will gag, and your body will try to repel the smoke from coming in, but the acid rain will pour, and it will fill you with sin. The sin that's accessorized by the soot on your skin. You are one of the few survivors who live long enough to see their people die day in and day out. You are barely even a shout. There is no doubt that you will be weeded out like the rest. They say that when it rains, it pours. So when they pull the trigger, they start the war. The body's on the floor, the lore, until the body count is nothing more than a game to them. Like trying to see who can kill two birds with one stone. Like trying to see how many names you can fit on one gravestone. You just took the boy's mom and everyone in her home. You cannot justify your actions in the name of anyone. Stop pretending. You are not cleansing. You are contaminating the air. It's filled with this putrid, malodorous smell of chemicals and loathing. They are intending for this never-ending cycle of voting about who is superior and who is inferior. The interior of our bodies are warier, yet no one does anything about it. The world around us is exploding, and no one is exposing the growing hatred they create for our religion, our culture, our land, our people. Quiet is no longer peaceful. Peace is deceitful. We are no longer wonder if there ever was a time that we were. And most of history is a blur, but I think we can concur that people bomb each other's nations for each one of its abominations, and it seems like every night the moon bathes in a bloodbath which we call war. And every time it sloshes in the tub, the tides change and bodies wash up ashore. The moon would trade ash for bubbles. It would, if it could, it would reach for hand soap and not handguns if we didn't go on destroying neighborhood after neighborhood. And when the moon steps out and the sun comes to shower in the morning, there's families around the world still mourning. The sun tries to scrub itself clean in a world where even the air is toxic. Is it possible that a loofah and body wash could wash away someone's logic? The world sends jet streams into the sky like jet streams on the shower head, and the sun is appalled at itself for even bothering to come out of bed. But do you blame it? Can you tame it? Can you tame the anger that rages on within us? And yet we are not even resisting. We stand there knowing that everyone is afraid to help. No one has to help. No one is responsible to help. So they won't. And they don't. And we go on with our suffering, but what if we didn't have to suffer anymore? What if we were no longer ignored? What if we didn't have to beg before or learn for the possibility of being heard? Do something in that perfect world of yours, because the what ifs will eat at our brains before the stray dogs will get to our bodies. Maybe in another world we could be somebodies, but maybe in this imperfect world, don't let us be nobodies. Don't allow the tide to change. There's too many paupers fields where our bodies decay. Let the moon bathe in peace for once.
Alright, next person is 45993752. Can y'all hear me? It's not selfish to love yourself more. Because if you love you more, maybe you could love a few more. Open up a new door when you feel worthless. Upgrade your work list to work on yourself more. Find what your worth is. Everybody on this earth is imperfect. Cast judgment on no one. Imagine the sky with no sun. Imagine the earth with no you. To love you is to know you. But I know that you don't know you like you need to. Boy, you owe you too much to let him ever beat you. Be you and not a teethful. Be so influential that I could see you in other people, but not those that claim that everything is alright. You know, the ones that sit us down, trying to convince us to move on, saying if we let it go, we'll learn to fly and all our pain will soon be gone. But I think they forgot. They're the ones that are clipping our wings. This era is nothing but a broken record that the cage bird sings. A low hum that preaches, life is short, but this love, it'll last long. Using this melody to point out the wrong, because I'm tired of feeling like I don't belong. So how about we play along so we can get along? Come along, but don't come alone. Don't be a clone. Know the unknown. Fix your tone. Get in the zone because we've grown. Time to reclaim your throne. But don't be thrown by my proposition. Don't be intimidated by my ambition. Because staying silent is a lie of omission. But the only currency, but the currency they accept is my submission. But the current I see flows with fire and disparity. I never realized how much of a rarity my despair would be. Because you stripped me bare of my credibility. And I pray that you come to see that he can't breathe, mama. He can't breathe. There's no inhaler as a remedy. As if y'all would ever allow funded medical sympathy as I breathe heavily. Helplessly. Helplessly. As I breathe heavily, helplessly. As I breathe heavily, helplessly. But I guess he was shot accidentally. And you cited your excuse with my pedigree, the same pedigree that deprived my father of his degree. Because he was caught in your little war spree. Stole his tea, tossed him to sea. Because his bedwood nose was all you could see. But it's not hard to see that.
Breathe, poet.
Okay. Because his bedwood nose was all you could see, but it's not hard to see that my mistakes have no privilege. And perfection is the standard for people of the minority. And perfection is the standard for people of minority. And perfection is the standard for people of minority. And perfection is the standard. And perfection. Spotless canvases of brown, lest we forget that our color is enough sin to last us a lifetime. But we'll never run out of time. Listen closely to my rhyme, because there's rules to the game provided within each line. But first, you must strengthen your own pen, because 9 times out of 10, they'll never let you shine brighter than him. Which is why we should talk about your system then. Let's talk about our place in here. Let's talk about our prisons then. When we're so stuck in a fairy tale, people blind, they only see the ends because they have no say. When you think, because you refuse to vote as if conservative policies hadn't been a problem for the youths on road. And raps is doing law. He sat down on the floor and watched it. 2 members of a jury in a court playing not to cross this border's hell. They give him guilty in that court as well. Then focus on the case, but he's in jail. I guess that all is well. There's no incentive to pay attention to a jury the system didn't pay. Well, most of them are bored, white, out of touch, and middle-aged, like, like, what do you consider a murder? Oh, God, I hope the cop's okay. Please take him off the street for my children and my sister's sake. They don't need to see the details, because he's young, black, and guilty. He's got a gold tooth and a tracksuit, send him in jail. He's gonna kill me. Now that's misrepresenting, but we choose to jump on Twitter over petitions and referendums. I swear to God, I'll never get this. That we claim to be active, but I have yet to see a change. Rather go to district with some honeys just to make it rain. But I know some true men who own yards and never splashed on cars like Atif and Wasif, who were still working hard in London when they got properties in Pakistan. I swear that they're my inspiration. We're the generation that's infiltrating all these different places. And we're the generation who mold and craft how the system changes black doctors out of judges. We just need a little patience, no. We just need a little strength. This isn't for the upper class, this is for everyone that lives in debt. That mortgages and bills affect, that work away and live and sweat. For every prisoner that comes home just to re-offend, not for any single dad that left, for every single mom instead. For every trap star that bangs stars and works the ends to earn some bread, I flirt with them. And then I go home just to cut a life. And then I go home just to cut a life. This life that I'm often caught up in confusion, in need of a dissolution, but they tell me the only solution is to get through this illusion we're living. But I refuse to live a lie, or fear the fall. I won't kiss the sky, but I'll live on the cloud, and never come down. But on the way up, I'll enjoy the ride, and never ask how. Destroy your pride, give away smiles, employ yourself and you'll never get fired. Laugh at the hurt, then laugh till it hurts, pray till it works, and never get tired. Please be inspired, may peace be inside. It could be worse, at least we're alive. Govern yourself, cover yourself and your brothers. We don't need police, we need God. We don't need so much of one thing, what we need is balance. And we don't want anything that's handed, no, we need a challenge. A challenge like, say something nice, smile when you're mad, when you're down and out, think about the times that we had that was good. When it's good, it's as good as it gets. Loving is good, good as in strength. Strength as in us. We gonna be strong as long as it's in us. Action's a must. We can't keep acting like fractions of us. Ashes to ashes. If we keep that up, our passions will turn into dust.
Yes, girl!
If you qualified for quarterfinals for debate